Hello, everyone. Welcome back to In Your Podcast with your host, Collin and Braeden Cox, as we record here on Friday, March 14th, 2025. And we have been previewing each MLB division ahead of the 2025 season. And in this episode, we are going to be specifically discussing the AL West, the Rangers, the Astros, the Mariners, the A's, and the Angels. So stay tuned for our predictions, our insights, and everything in between. And if you haven't yet, go check out our other episodes for the other divisions. And then I think we still have, after this one, we'll still have the NL West and NL Central to do. So stay tuned for those episodes as well. But before we get into it, Braeden, just want to say this episode is brought to you by Blue Woods Bakery from Saylorsburg, PA.
Okay.
So I'll drop the link. I'll drop the link to the Blue Woods Bakery website in the description. So make sure you guys check that out. It has really good pie, really good cake, really good macaroons if you guys are into that. So yeah, go check that out. And tell them that In the Yard sent you there. But yeah,
Awesome. Love to hear it.
Blue Woods Bakery. Go check it out. All right, but yeah. So how you feeling about the AL West?
The AL West, I think it's very interesting. I think it's probably one of the more I hate to call it a toss-up, but it's definitely one of the more interesting of the divisions because I really do think you could go a couple different ways with it. I'm not saying our lists are going to, align exactly, but my guess is we're gonna go a couple different ways with this. Um, and we do have like the Athletics in here, right? Not to, jump the gun or anything, but they don't necessarily even have a home. So like they're gonna be playing in Sacramento. What's that gonna look like this year? And then of course you have, the Astros who have largely been on a dynasty, might take a step back, who knows? And then, of course, the Rangers and the Mariners, who are kind of like fringe playoff teams last year, and whatnot. So it's going to be an interesting discussion to see where your thoughts are
Mm-hmm.
compared to mine and where the audience is as well.
Yeah. So it's real quick. We'll just preview each team and then we'll give our predictions at the
Yeah,
end, kind of like we've been doing.
yeah,
But we'll go through. We're gonna go through each team a little faster than we've been doing, just slightly
yeah.
faster. So save some time. But so I think we've been doing alphabetical by city, right? So I think it would technically be the Astros, the Houston Astros, because the
Yeah,
Angels
we'll
are in
we'll, we'll
LA
start with the
now.
Astros, the
We'll
big
start with the
bad
Astros.
Stros.
Yeah. Obviously the Astros were kind of a dynasty for a few years there.
Yeah,
Were solid last year, got swept by the Orioles at home in the wild card, and kind of lost some pieces, lost Alex Bregman. Um, and they also who else did they lose? I feel like they lost one more guy. Am I missing someone besides Bregman, or is Bregman the big
uh,
one? Yeah, I
Bregman.
think Bregman was the big
Altuve
one.
moved to left field.
Yeah, Altuve moved to left field. And
Jordan
then
Alvarez is
they
still
did,
there.
yeah, they got Christian Walker too at first base now.
Christian Walker, yeah.
So yeah, I just think Astros they're still gonna be a good team. Like you can't count them out given their history. They still have a solid team, solid baseball operation. So I'm just not counting the Astros. I know some people are, some betting sites are, um, but yeah, Astros they're still gonna be a very good team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much to say. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Uh, you can't count them out.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna be bad. Like at minimum, they're gonna be a good baseball team, likely a wild card team, just because that's what they do. I think the
Yeah.
conversation more becomes, are they going to win the division, not if they're going to make the playoffs. Um, and as a group, they still largely have a lot of their pieces. We talk about Altuve. Yes, he's moving to left field, which I think is just let's, extend your career as long as we can. We'll put you in left field. I know he had that botch, he tried to make that jumping catch the other day. I don't know if you saw that, but he just completely whiffed on it. Like he jumped like three
I
seconds
didn't
early.
catch
It was
that.
pretty funny.
Oh,
So there might be some growing pains there, but there's still a lot of good players, and it's a good, front office, GM, ownership, all sorts of stuff like that. For them to be as good as they've been for as many years as it's been at this point, um, you know, that in itself right there, leads me to believe that they're going to be solid this year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it hit the nail on the head. Um, and given the history of our Yankees, playing players out of position always works out. Um, so stay tuned for Altuve in left field. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's all. I think it's gonna be like Vangraff seems to think he's gonna be splitting left field and second base still, but mostly left field. So
Okay.
we'll see how that goes. All
Yeah.
right, you want to move on to now would be the Angels, I guess.
Yeah, we can talk the
Yeah,
Angels.
we're saving the A's for last because they don't even have an official city right now.
They
So
have no city.
yeah, so yeah, we'll save those. We're not saving those for last. We're putting them in last because they deserve to go last.
There you
Um,
go.
but yeah, jokes aside, let's go over to the Angels. Right.
Yeah.
Again, not much to say about the Angels. They made some moves, right? But I just, they Mike Trout. Hopefully, he stays healthy. More for um like a legacy perspective, right? So he kind of like accumulates some more stats for his Hall of Fame case and all that stuff. But they go out and get Jorge Soler and Kikuchi, but that's really it. They definitely haven't done enough to me to put them to dig themselves out of the hole they've dug themselves in the past 4 or 5 years now. Um, and yeah, I'm just not super high on the Angels. They'll be like okay to watch. They got Zach Neto, good young shortstop. I think he's going to be out to start the season though. And yeah, I guess you could watch Mike Trout also if you wanted to, but yeah, not really high on the Angels once again.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I mean, there's just not much really going on there that is, you know, worth discussing, unfortunately. If you're a Mike Trout fanatic, he's still around. He'll probably get hurt at some point this year because that just seems to happen every year with Mike Trout, but he's still gonna be good when he's there. Um, and yeah, like that's kind of it. I think what's his name? Anthony Rendon's already like ruled out for the whole year, but he's kind of been a mess ever since he moved over to the Angels.
What a joke.
So yeah, I mean, once again, I don't really have even much to say,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because we're talking 2 years ago, this team had arguably the best player in baseball in Shohei Ohtani, and they just weren't able to retain him, which sucks. Um, you know, it's kind of crazy looking back at it. It's like, wow, there was a time where, just over a year ago, we had Otani and Mike Trout playing on the same team, and you would think,
Yep.
wow, that team is going to win a lot of games this year, but they didn't even really sniff the
And then it
playoffs.
worked out.
So
Yeah. Kind of a shame at the end of the day, but
yeah,
don't want to dwell on that too much
yeah,
here on In the Yard. But yeah, like I said, Angels are just, they are what they are. I don't think anything's going to change anytime soon. I know a lot of people are saying they should sell the team, but I feel they've tried to be good. It just hasn't worked out for them. I think that's what it is at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, I think they're not going to be very good this year. And then that should take us to all right. So I think we got the two kind of boring. I don't want to say the Astros and Angels are boring, but like not as much like juice as these next three teams. So stay with us here on In the Yard. So I think that brings us to Seattle, right? If
yeah,
we're saving the A's, if we're putting the A's in last, if we're putting the
yeah,
A's last, it takes us to Seattle. Um,
yeah,
the Mariners, great
yeah,
pitching last year. I think they were the best pitching staff in baseball. I know it helps playing at that stadium. Um, but great pitching, and I think they're going to be really good at pitching this year. But last year they were 21st in runs scored in the league, not much offense. And they haven't really made any big offseason moves so far. I don't think they're going to be making any more. I know they still have Julio. They still have one of the best catchers in baseball in Cal Raleigh. Um, and they also have Luke Fraley, I think, at first. So like a solid team. I know, Brain, you've been behind the Mariners the past couple years, but I know they have to show to me that they're more than just a wild card slash um, on the bubble out kind of team. They have to win some games this year to prove me wrong. What do you say to that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's for sure. I am. I picked them last year to make the playoffs. I may have even picked them to win the division. I don't remember. You'd have to fact check me on that. But I was high on the
I think you
Mariners
did.
last year just because I really was a fan of their pitching staff, and I kind of have the same idea going into this year because, like you said, it's a good stadium for a pitching staff, and their pitching staff is really good. It's just gonna be a matter if to me, it really just comes down to, are they going to generate enough offense to win enough games? And when I say enough games, that means more than, and I'm sure you align here, than the Rangers or the Astros, right? Which, with that pitching staff, I'd like to see someone like Julio Rodriguez have a really good season, right? Because
Yeah.
I think the season, I'm not saying it's all him, but I think, if he has a tremendous season, Mariners will be maybe not necessarily a force, but they're going to be
Hmm.
a solid team, I believe. I think that they could totally be a playoff team if he has a great year. But if he doesn't have that great of a year, which is equally as possible, I don't really know where I stand because I trust the
Yeah.
pitching, but I don't know besides that what I trust.
Yeah.
Um, I,
A
I
lot of
always
pressure on
blank on who
Julio.
they're. Say again.
I think there's a lot of pressure on Julio. Like he didn't necessarily have a bad season last year, but the offense kind of runs through him. Um, and if he could get back, like he had a good season last year, but he had an even better season in 2023. If he can get
Yeah,
back to his 2023 self, the guy's our age, 25. Um,
yeah.
like so if he get back to that 2023 self of him, I think they could be a really good team. Even if he's like 2024, like he wasn't bad by any means. He was a solid offensive piece.
They were just
But
expecting more.
yeah, exactly. I think we're expecting more like from his like similar to his 2023 year. But I think he took a little bit of a step back, but I'm not saying he could make that leap forward again. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yeah, and this team has good players. I look at Cal Riley catching, like he's a great catcher. Um, just going across the board here, Dylan Moore is a name that jumps out to me. Jorge Polanco is in Seattle. JP Crawford, um, Randy Rosarena
Mm-hmm.
is in left field. He was traded there. What was that last year?
Yeah, it was last
So
July.
like Victor Robles. So like this team feels like they could
Mm-hmm.
put it together, but I think that there is a lot of pressure on Julio because he kind of is the star there.
The Kevin the
Um,
Kevin Durant of MLB. Did you see that clip?
who called him that?
Kevin Durant.
Called Julio the Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant
Really?
called Julio the Kevin Durant of MLB.
Well, that's only putting more pressure on the kid.
I know. I think him and I think KD and Julio are like good friends. Like KD was kind of just like
Okay.
trying to like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to give him a
But
shout
yeah,
out
I
kind of
mean,
thing.
like, listen, like he has the potential to be a superstar in this league, and I think he's already largely considered a star. It's just a matter of if he can take that next step. I think if they do take that next step, they could totally be a problem,
Yeah.
right? But if he doesn't, I kind of question it a little bit more. We might get a season like last year where that last week of the season they're kind of in the race, and it's like, well, if a couple things go their way, they might do it,
Mhm.
and it just didn't. So,
Yeah. Also, I
um,
was wrong. He's actually 24 years old. I said 25. He's
that's
turning
crazy.
he's turning 25 in December.
Wow,
So
that's that's unbelievable. So,
future Yankee? Did he
I,
did
I'm rooting for Seattle.
what's his contract looking like? Yeah, you're always a big
They're just a
Seattle
cool
guy.
team. I don't know what it is. Like Pacific Northwest, like there's not much going on out there. Um, and I think that they're huge baseball fans, and there's an expectation there. Um, yeah, man, he's only 24. That's absurd.
Oh shit. Never mind. He's not coming to the Yankees anytime soon. 12-year, 209 million with the Mariners, which is kind of a steal a little bit.
That is a steal. When did he
Actually,
sign that?
actually
No, that's a
15 million
steal.
signing bonus, 209 million guaranteed.
So his whole contract's guaranteed,
Yeah, I think
right?
if I'm reading this right. Good
I
for
mean,
him.
that's only what, 17 mil a year?
Yeah,
17 and a
17
half?
mil a year.
I
Yeah.
take that. Yeah. Sure, he'll be good. He'll be solid. I don't expect a huge fall. I just don't know if he's a superstar. I think there's a potential that he's
I
just a
think I
star.
think I think he'd be like Mike Trout level in a couple years. Like, when Judge and them get a little older, I think he could be like the best center fielder in baseball for sure. All right.
That's totally fair. And at that contract level, you take that. You take that
Yeah.
chance for
Yeah,
sure.
that's a good deal. That's a good deal for the Mariners. All right, let's move on though
Yeah,
from the Mariners.
for
I'm
sure.
sure we'll get back to them in a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you get everything you want to say about them?
Yeah. I'm good. We can go to
Okay.
the whoever's next. What, the Rangers?
Rangers, yeah, 2023 World Series champions and kind of a long hangover year after that. I think they had a lot of injuries. Seager was down for a year. They lost Montgomery to the Diamondbacks in the offseason. Um, DeGrom was out for most of the year, not
Yeah.
shockingly. And they kind of have a young core. It's really good, has a lot of potential, a lot of hype around them. And they did make some moves this offseason, added Jock Peterson, so he'll be like a heavy DH. And if you look at this roster, Braden, when they're fully healthy, it's pretty much the same roster that won the World Series 2 years ago. Um,
Yeah.
and I know they're getting a little older, like Semien and Seager and Degrom, but if they could stay healthy for a full season and not degress drastically, I think the Rangers have the potential to be a really good team. Combined the veterans with the young core. Young core, you got Jack Leiter, Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter. But yeah, I think I have pretty high expectations for the Rangers if they stay healthy this year.
Yeah. I mean, I have to agree with you. It only feels like they got better in the offseason too. Like I was pretty high on the Rangers last year. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if I had them in the World
I think
Series,
you
but I
did.
definitely had them there because
I think you did have them win the World Series.
I think
Not
I
winning
don't know
it,
if I had them winning the World Series.
making it.
I think I had them in it.
Yeah.
Um, because they basically brought back the same team the next year. So I was like, you know, unless there's a hangover, which there clearly was, they should be able to do it. They brought in Kyle Higashioka. He's solid. You saw what he did with the Padres in the postseason last
Mm-hmm.
year.
It's a good pickup for them.
Um,
And then he's more of a
Jake
veteran
Berger's
for
going to
Joe
play first
Naheim.
base
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
Jake Berger, great addition. I'm just, I'm looking across the board and I kind of love what I see. I mean, and you mentioned Jock Peterson, um, you know, and that's just a few names. We got Corey Seager, we got Wyatt Langford, we got Marcus Simeon. Like this team is good. And if you can get a full season out of DeGrom, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if you can if you can make that happen, you still got Nathan. You would have DeGrom. I think John Gray is in there. So like, I don't know. I have I hate to put too much pressure on them, but I really do think that they're going to be a good team this year.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that they're going to figure it out because I think they had a sneaky, really good off season and free agency. Um, but we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. They just gotta stay healthy, and then from there,
Mm.
just win games. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get into more of the Rangers at the end of the episode as well. And I think that brings us to our last and also least team. Not least as
Yeah.
in performance, but least as in like when it comes to the organization as a whole.
Yeah.
With the whole move and all that stuff. Um, the Oakland slash Sacramento slash Las Vegas A's. Great. I actually like what the A's did this off season. They
So did
extended
I.
Lawrence Butler. I think Brent Rooker's there for another few years. They have one of the best closers in baseball, Mason Miller. They get Severino. I thought that was a little high of a contract for kind of
Yeah.
Severino's aging, but I mean they're trying to make moves, and maybe this move will be for the better for the future of the Athletics. I guess is what it's called right now.
Yeah. Uh, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I vaguely remember seeing something that Severino got the largest contract in A's history. Is that right?
I think maybe for a pitcher or something like that.
Or a pitcher? Yeah, that's what I mean, or something like that. But
Something like
yeah,
that.
like I would have to agree with you that I feel like they got better. I just, for me, it really comes down to like, what is this whole Sacramento and how's the team gonna react to that? Because it could be, I look at it as it could be a total, negative, like it could be not a disaster, but it could be a mess, right? Or the team could kind of rally behind it, right? I'm not gonna like lean either way there because it's the Athletics, and quite frankly, I have zero trust in them either way. I'm just saying that I look at it and I'm like, okay, like if I was an Athletics fan, I wouldn't be going into this season feeling worse than I did last. I'd be like, yeah, no stadium now. There's one coming in a few years in Vegas, but like I kind of feel okay with where we're headed.
Mm,
Um,
yeah,
and you
I
still got
agree.
players like Brett Rooker.
Hmm.
He was phenomenal for them last year, and I expect him to, follow that up with another great season. And we'll see where it takes him. But I'm if I'm an A's fan, I'm kind of happy with where we're at,
Yeah,
compared to last year, I should say. Anyway,
yeah. They're trying to be better. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to be
exactly.
better this year, but maybe if they keep this regression, not regression, I guess progression, I should say, that they'll be good. Especially in the division. The division kind of is like, I think in a few years it's going to be up in the air. I think the Rangers, depending on how that young core goes, then the Astros are getting older. So I think the A's right now are a decent spot, and as long as they could keep trying to make moves and become better every year. But yeah, go A's, go Athletics.
Anyways, let's see what they
Um,
got this year.
yeah, got anything else to add, Braden, before we get into our final
No, I
predictions?
think yeah, that's all I got. I'm excited to see where you go. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think you lead us off this time because I think I did
Yeah,
the last, right?
yeah. For more insight for each team, it sounds like we're gonna be similar, similar projections or similar
Yeah.
predictions. Braid, the 1 and 2 was kind of tough for me. I kept going back and forth. Like for
Okay.
the 1 seed, but I'm gonna roll with the Rangers. I think again, as long as they stay healthy, they have a good young core who's has World Series experience, most of those guys. And then they also have a veteran presence as well. Again, as long as they just stay on the field and win games, I don't think anyone's really better on paper than the Rangers, not even the Astros. It was tough for me to go against my second place team, but I'm gonna roll with the Rangers at 1. Um, and that's gonna bring me the Astros at 2. It was tough again, super tough, but um, they did lose some pieces, but the Astros are really good baseball operation and organization. I don't think they're really gonna have that much of a fall off even after losing kind of like Alex Bregman. They lost, Correa and Springer a few years ago now. But they've proved they could win without them. They have a solid pitching staff, solid bullpen. And like I said, like you just can't count the Astros out. Um, so I roll with them at 2, and then I'm gonna have the Mariners finishing third. Solid pitching, but their offense, I don't love it. I don't like their pitching was great last year as well, but that didn't really get them anywhere. And they haven't really made any real moves on offense either. But maybe Julio and Luke Raley and Cal Raleigh and Randy Rosarena have a good, healthy, full season. They'll put them over the top. But right now, I can't. They have to prove that to me first. I'm gonna have them at third, and that brings me to the A's at fourth. Like I said, I like what the A's did. I don't think they're going to be great this year, but they could keep, building off of last season. Then they'll be a solid team in the future. But right now, I think they're going to be fun to watch. I think they're going to be really fun to watch. Um, but right now, I can't see them winning, being that much better than last year. And then I'm going to have the Angels at 5, moving Mike Trout to right. Was it right field or left field? I think left field or right field.
Yeah.
One of those. He's probably playing
Right.
corners more than center field. Made some moves, but not moves that I love. And I just think this could be another long year for the Angels. So yeah, I'm going with them at 5.
Yeah, I mean, I like your projections here. I'm gonna have a few changes.
That's good.
But first, I'm curious to get your thoughts on, and it shouldn't take too much time, but what or how many games you expect the
Hmm.
Rangers and Astros and Mariners to kind of be separated by? Because we're on the same page as
Yeah,
far as them go. Maybe the
yeah.
order's a little different, but like, how close do you expect those to be?
I think the Rangers are probably 5 games better than the Astros slash Mariners, and
Okay.
then Astros probably are like 3 or 4 games better than the Mariners, I would say. So like not
Okay.
super far, but not super tight, like 1 or 2 games, like we've been talking about in our other divisions. But But yeah, to me, I think the Rangers and Astros are both better than the Mariners, and I think the Rangers have a slight edge over the Astros if they stay healthy. So
Okay. I think that's fair.
yeah,
I think that's totally fair. I'm gonna agree with you on the Rangers, but I'll take a step forward. To me, looking at the AL as a whole, I think that the floor for this team has to be the divisional round. To and maybe
for the
I'm
Rangers, you
nuts for
mean?
saying that, but for the Rangers, excuse
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Um, I really do think that this team could totally win the World Series next year. Like roster
Wow,
wise, I think they totally got
you
it.
said that last year too.
Um, I did say that last year. And you
Injury
know,
bug got him.
the injury bug and the hangover got him. And I still think with like a week left in the season, they were still kinda in the race. Maybe not a week, but you know what I mean? Like they
Yeah,
were awful last year. They just clearly were had the injury bug and had the hangover. Um, I really like what they did this offseason, right? And now you're a year out. You can kind of put the World Series not necessarily behind you, but you know what I mean? You're not
yeah. No, I
on
know what you
that
mean.
still.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think that this is a top three team, like
Wow,
lock in the AL. I'm high on the
that's a hot
Rangers this
take.
year.
That's a hot take.
Maybe you know what I mean.
I like it
I
though.
really do. I speak very highly of the Rangers. In second, I'm gonna have Seattle, man.
I knew
I'm
you
gonna
would.
trust
I knew
it.
you would.
I I expect Julio to go out and have and earn
Yeah,
that what $210 million guarantee contract. I
yeah,
expect him to go out there and do that this year.
yeah.
And you get a full season of Randy Rosarena. I'm excited to see what that looks like. I don't know what the over under is, but I don't really care. I take the over on him.
Wow,
Um,
I like that.
and right behind them, and I'm talking like they could have the same record. I'm gonna have the
Yeah,
Astros just because it's the Astros.
Fangraphs.
The Astros could
Fangraphs.
totally
I was gonna say
go
Fangraphs
ahead.
has the Astros and Mariners finishing tied.
Yeah.
So take
So
that
I
if
mean,
I saw it.
and that
Yep.
could totally happen, and
Yeah.
maybe Astros take the cake because they win more against them. But
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be, um, it's just a good organization. They figured it
Yeah.
out, and I trust them to do that again. But as far as dynasty is concerned, I think we're on probably the tail end of that. I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
much longer I'll be able to say that. And then I'm going to agree with you that I'm going to have the Athletics. Another team, I don't really care what their over under is. I'm taking the over. I like what they did in the offseason. I expect good things from Severino and from Brent Rooker. The team as a whole, I think they're going to be exciting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, I think the Angels will be awful. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're going to be what the White Sox were last year, but I could see a world where, you know, those four, maybe not the Athletics, but the Astros, Mariners, and Rangers beat up on the Angels, and they
Yeah.
find themselves in the postseason by default. Kind of
Right.
like what happened with the Central last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'll go with there.
Yeah. Good predictions, Brandon. I think that about wraps it up here for our episode. That's our AL West preview. Thank you everyone for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, and check out our other episodes if you haven't already, and then two more to come. So stay tuned for those. And yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.